Welcome back down to a brand new spoiler review here in Max Talks Movies. We're talking episode 4 of Obi-Wan. We're 2/3 now into the show. I'm going to break down this brand new episode, which was 38 minutes with credits. Please subscribe and ring the bell if you're new to the channel. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie rankings, box office breakdown show every single Monday. So please subscribe, ring the bell. Also comment down below. What are your thoughts on this spoiler episode of Obi-Wan? Did this surprise you, disappoint you? Are you excited for the last 2 episodes? What are your bold predictions for how this 6-part series will conclude in a couple of weeks? And also, please like the video, guys. The thumbs up button. That's how you support the channel the best way possible. I'll let you know some future videos that I'll be releasing at the end of the review. And like the video, guys. The algorithm really helps so more people can check out this breakdown. So let's get into it. So episode 3 for me was absolutely fantastic last week. I've already done spoiler breakdowns of the first 2 episodes, the 3rd episode. So I was really pumped for this to keep going. We got an epic, really Vader episode, Vader Obi-Wan episode last week, which I thought was exactly what we all signed up for with the show. And it's kind of weird how we have kind of polar opposite episodes for me. I thought that in episode 3, we got exactly what we signed up for. And I thought episode 4, we got exactly not what we wanted in sometimes a really disappointing way. This is by far and away the most disappointed that I have been with the show. This is a show that I've been just dying for my entire life. This is my favorite actor in this role. This is my favorite character of all Star Wars. I'm just the biggest fan of this franchise. So I live and breathe Star Wars. So for me to be this, I don't hate the episode whatsoever. I don't think it's bad TV. I just feel like it was kind of just fine. I thought the first episode was excellent. I thought the second episode was okay. I thought the 3rd episode was fantastic. And I thought this episode was, again, kind of just okay. And the biggest reason why is one of the biggest reasons why is that this episode is short. We opened with, and this is kind of, you can tell, the second episode was also 39 minutes with credits. This episode was 38 minutes with credits. And the 2 best episodes are the 2 longest episodes, not because they're longer, but you'll get why. The first episode was 53 minutes, and the 3rd episode last week was 45 minutes. When you have a 6-episode limited series, I think they should just go on the 6-hour route and make a 6-hour movie. And it's weird that this episode, after you end with episode 3, and it feels like you're going into, well, we're going to be full on Vader Obi-Wan mode for the rest of the show. We were all shocked and surprised at how early we got Vader in the show. Vader in the suit has one scene this episode, and we see Hayden out of the suit for like a glimpse in the beginning of the episode. But it really has nothing to do with Obi-Wan and Vader going up against each other after they just had that battle last week. So let's get into the episode. This whole episode is about Reva takes Leia at the end of episode 3 back to the Fortress Inquisitorius. And as I said, my biggest issue with the show, even with episode 3, is that Leia is still in this show. And I do believe that I think the person who's playing Leia is doing an absolutely fantastic job. Vivian Lyra Blair. I think she does embody young Leia, but this is the episode I think they've really stretched out all they can with the character, because there are just a bunch of plot holes going on with having Leia in all of these situations in the show. So this episode, Tala and Obi-Wan are going to try to go save her with the help of I think O'Shea Jackson Jr., who was like one of the last remaining big time castings that we didn't know who he was playing. And they are going, we've heard some references to Nur this episode, which was a planet that we went to in Fallen Order. A lot of Fallen Order references in this episode, with us going to the Fortune Quintorius. And the way Obi-Wan enters the building is kind of the same way we did as Cal Kestis in the video game, which I thought was a nice touch to the episode. But we kind of began with Obi-Wan going in the back to tank. And this got me really excited, because if you watch the Book of Boba Fett, you know, the way that we got to our memories in the Book of Boba Fett was Boba going in the back to tank, and we would go back in time. I think we've all been hoping that the reason why we have Hayden in the show is because we're going to get some flashbacks, some Clone Wars, some prequel things, some scenes that we really haven't seen before, de-aging both Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor. And as they're doing it, they're cutting back and forth, which I thought was actually the best part of the episode, was going back and forth between Vader having to go in this back tank basically every day because of the pain of his burns, and now Obi-Wan experiencing that same pain by himself going to the back tank, and he has these memories of the fight from last week. Great way to start the episode. But after that, it's just basically like infiltrate the Inquisitorius and get Leia out of there. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that Reva is interrogating Leia, and she can clearly tell that Leia is Force sensitive because she kind of does that Force thing to open up your mind, to open up. And Leia obviously doesn't do it because she's Force sensitive. She's strong in the Force. And that's already kind of a strike number one for this episode. The fact that it seems like Reva tells Vader everything that's going on. And for her to, at this point, not tell Vader that, one, Leia's been on this ship, and two, a kid is Force sensitive. Like, it just feels like the plot holes are getting a little bit big. As I said, it would have been nice if Leia was in the first 2 episodes. It was a nice surprise, but they're just keeping her in the show. And I feel like they're stretching credibility with what happens in New Hope. So we'll see if they can fix it in the last 2 episodes. Also, they have not fixed that the Grand Inquisitor has not returned yet on the show. Again, I am not going to judge the show until the show is finished, but this is just a frustrating episode. I don't think, again, it's bad because, again, Ewan McGregor is fantastic once again in this episode. As he's trying to get himself back in the Force, he uses a little bit more of the Force. We see his first kind of lightsaber action, not with the Vader fight, which was kind of exciting this episode. So we have all these different things going on. And basically, O.J. Jackson Jr. is like, we'll help you guys out because Tala has this clearance with the Empire. She goes in, Obi-Wan goes in, and then Obi-Wan sees it's like, we hear that they're hiding something at the bottom of the fortress. I was like, I better hope they explain that. At the end of the episode, towards the end, Obi-Wan sees basically a tomb of just fallen Jedi. A tomb where all the Jedi that the Inquisitors have killed, they like have up as trophies. I saw one of the Jedi who was in Clone Wars. You see a youngling, sadly, is there. It was a good scene. I just thought I should have been hit a little bit more. But as you know, Leia just not giving up to Reva where the path is. Reva's about to torture her, and then Tala does a distraction where Tala comes in, talks to Reva, kind of gets her out of the situation. Obi-Wan swoops in, gets the save from Leia, saves Leia. Tala's about to be in prison, but no, Obi-Wan helps her out. And they're both on the run they're all 3 on the run from Reva. And then 2 of O'Shea Jackson Jr.'s friends come in. One takes Obi-Wan and Leia. The other one distracts Reva. The character's name was Wade, I believe, who gets killed in this episode. And they escape the ship. We see the 5th brother and the 4th sister and the 3rd sister all, obviously the 5th brother is kind of excited because he's like, Reva messed up. That means I should be in control. Then we finally get the only Vader scene in the episode with him in the suit, which again was a very good scene with Vader coming in. I mean, he is just so terrifying in this series. I think a lot of people who thought that he was terrifying in the original trilogy, I think a lot of us who maybe didn't see that in the original trilogy are now seeing that in the show. This is definitely, I think, the most terrifying that the character has been in maybe all of Star Wars or since really Empire Strikes Back. He's been this terrifying. He kind of runs in. He's like, you failed me, Reva. I told you what would happen if you failed me. And then Reva says that we have a tracker with Obi-Wan. And then, the 5th brother is kind of like, well, the whole fortress almost just got destroyed. What are you going to do about that? And then Reva quickly says, Obi-Wan is the only thing that matters. And that's what matters to Vader. And that's why Vader is trusting Reva, because Reva wants the same thing as Vader. And the 5th brother, while he cared about the fortress, we saw last week, Vader didn't give 2 craps about the Grand Inquisitor, because when Reva was talking to him last week, she was saying like, well, Grand Inquisitor is this, should we pick him up or anything? And Vader's like, I don't care about the Grand Inquisitor. If you do this for me, you'll be the Grand Inquisitor. So, which I do think they'll have to fix or in order to not piss off people like me who love those animated shows. But so Vader, and she's like, I have a tracker. I'll trust your tracker. We'll go get them. And then we cut to the ending of the episode, which really should have just been the Vader scene, but we end on Leia holding hands with Obi-Wan. it's just a frustrating episode. It feels like the most, I guess, filler that the series has been thus far, because we had such an impactful, powerful third episode with some of the best Star Wars in the last 20 years. And you go from that, you're thinking, okay, we're in go time now. We're at the halfway point of the show. Vader and Obi-Wan have already fought each other. Obi-Wan knows Anakin's alive. Let's do this. And then other than Obi-Wan in the opening scene with the dreams, he's all focused on rescuing Leia. Leia being on ship and people knowing that she's force sensitive is just a big, gigantic plot hole. This is not a bad episode. It was an okay episode. I had an easy time. This is an easy to watch episode, but for people who've been really criticizing the show, I think they're gonna have a lot of fun to critique this episode, because as the biggest Star Wars fan and the biggest fan of really the first and the third episode, I even like the second in this episode. This is the most frustrated I've been with the show thus far. So that's my general thoughts on episode 4 of Obi-Wan. We have only two more episodes of the show, and this was supposed to be, as of now, a 6-part limited series. So I hope the last 2 episodes are at least like an hour 45 to an hour long, because this show has not a lot of time to wrap things up. So that's my thoughts on episode 4 of Obi-Wan. Let me know your thoughts. Did you like the episode? Did you love the episode? Is this your favorite, or you're in my camp? A bit frustrated. Might not be your least favorite episode, but maybe the most frustrating. Let me know if you agree or disagree with me in the comment section down below. Like the video and subscribe and ring the bell. Releasing at the same time as this review, my episode 1 spoiler review of the new MCU show, Miss Marvel, will also be coming out literally the same time as this. A review and on Sunday you'll have my Jurassic World Dominion review, and Monday my box office breakdown show, and then next Wednesday you'll get both my Miss Marvel episode 2 and Obi-Wan episode 5 spoiler review. So please subscribe to the bell, and I'll see you guys there.